Hi everyone, this is Maria, and today I just want to take a couple of minutes to share with you some vintage photographs that a friend of mine, Marissa, and her daughter Nikki picked up for me recently at an estate sale. I just love vintage photos, and so I was so excited when I found these at my door yesterday. This one is really cool. Looks like it might be turn of the century, maybe right before the turn of the century or right after. This one is a whole family. Imagine getting all dressed up and going downtown to have your photograph taken of the whole family. Look at everyone, how they're all dressed up. Everyone's looking straight at the camera. Imagine getting all 5 of those kids to look right into the camera. You notice how no one is smiling, which was pretty common of the time. But this one was taken at the East Side South Main Street is the address in Baltimore, Maryland. And it looks like the name of the photographer or the studio was Kramer. The reason I love vintage photographs, I think, is because I'm a writer, and there's just that natural curiosity that I have as a writer, just wondering who these people were, what their lives were like, what their hopes, what their dreams were, how they spent their day, what their hobbies were. I'm just really interested in people's stories. This sort of reminds me of the era of Titanic, the RMS Titanic. And so in my mind, since I'm working on the Titanic project right now, a collection of monologues, it makes me think of a family that possibly could have been emigrating to America and maybe traveling in 3rd class in steerage. So anyways, that's what it gives me a feeling of, and I'll use some of these photographs for inspiration. This photograph is of a young man, and so it makes me think, again, back to Titanic. Look how handsome he is and all the dreams that he had ahead of him. And so anyways, if he was on Titanic, chances are he wouldn't have made it off the ship. So anyways, again, my mind is just on Titanic right now, and that's because that's what I'm working on. This one is obviously not the turn of the century. I really love this one. It's an old filling station. Look at the filling station, the attendant. Look at the gas pumps. Isn't this great? So anyways, it makes me feel like I could just step right back in time. This one reminds me more of my other novel, Butterfly Hollow, and what the filling station might have looked like. I mean, can you imagine stopping by there? You're going for a Sunday drive. You know, he's filling up your tank with gasoline and you want something cold to drink, and there's probably a Coca-Cola ice chest around there where you could buy something cold to drink. And you'd have a little conversation. Back then people did that. A little small talk. They'd ask you how you're doing. They really meant it when they asked you how you were doing back then. And so people were just a little bit more friendly back then, I think. Even when I was a kid, I could still remember the filling station guys coming out with a rag in their pocket and saying, "Fill her up." And, you know, I remember my dad getting out and talking with the gas station attendants, and people just took a little bit more time back then. Everyone seems to be in a rush these days. I also want to show you what else that Marissa and Nikki picked up for me at this same estate sale. It's a collection of Titanic DVDs, and so I'm really excited to watch these. These will really help me with my research. I usually put DVDs on in the background, or maybe some music that was played on board Titanic, the type of music that was played, to inspire me as I work. So here are all the photographs together. Thanks so much, Marissa and Nikki. You guys are great. I really appreciate this. What a really nice surprise. Thank you for thinking of me. Bye-bye.